Hello everyone, it's your favorite ski mask wearing idiot. Today we are taking a look at my Dart Zone Pro Mark III. What I like about it, what I don't like about it, going over the 3D printed parts, and why I added them. Starting with the overview, at the front, there is no in-strike barrel lug, but I do have a custom 3D printed barrel designed by Gargunkel. This replaces the stock barrel that came with it. Now there's nothing wrong with the stock barrel. It's bright orange and it has some Picatinny rail at the bottom, but I like this one more because of the cartoony space gun look it gives it and the fact that it reduces the overall length of the blaster, which is useful for storage and maneuvering it around cover during games. If you want to check out any of the 3D printed parts I got here, I'll leave links to the files in the description. Moving up, there's a full-length Picatinny style rail across the top of the blaster. Now this isn't Picatinny, it's Dart Zone's version of it, but it should be compatible with Picatinny attachments like red dots. On the rail, I have the iron sights included with the Mark 1.2 and the included red dot sight. I have the irons here because aesthetic, but the red dot here isn't a true red dot. It just uses two AAAs to project a red LED on the clear plastic. It looks cool, but it isn't an actual red dot. But on or off, it sorta gives you a good reference point for where your darts are going. On the left side, I have a little Carnage sticker because why not? And on the right, I have a sticker of my Nerf group. On the left side, we also got the battery tray. Undoing the screw reveals slots for 8 AAA batteries, which is a lot. But removing the screw at the bottom of the tray and pulling up reveals an XD60 connector, which means you can get a LiPo that connects via XD60, disconnect the battery tray, and connect to your LiPo if you want a rechargeable battery that will also perform better. From what I could tell, these motors are rated up to 3S LiPo, but they could also take 2S if you want to undervolt it. Moving down, we got the magazine well. This magazine well is compatible with the majority of N-Strike mags on the market, but some mags do have some problems seating into the blaster. These 12-round Nerf mags have trouble locking into the blaster when inserted. What? In my initial thoughts video, I thought this was a problem with the blaster itself and not the mags, as the included 15-round magazine had the same issue. However, I've been using these 15-round worker mags recently, and they haven't had the same seating problem. This 3D printed mag release done by Crow is just cosmetic, as it's identical to the orange one catch-wise and doesn't claim to fix any of these problems in the description. I don't know why these mags work better. They just do. So keep that in mind if you're going to use full-length darts. The Mark III also comes with an adapter that sticks into the normal mag well that lets you use short darts like so. I hate these adapters. This compared to the mag release on the Nexus and Aeon X is horrible, as you could just push down lightly on the mag releases on those ones and they'll just gravity drop. On top of that, using short darts with this adapter tends to jam up the blaster. Why does this happen? I don't know. It just does. This jamming issue can easily be fixed with a 3D printed insert that goes on top of the adapter or a pusher replacement. But I haven't done either of those, as I mostly use full-length darts out of this blaster. But if you're going to use short darts, definitely consider this fact. Speaking of full-length darts, this thing really likes decapitating them. Adventure Force Waffles, Chili's, and Elite darts, in my experience, tend to get decapitated after going through the blaster a handful of times. But I believe this is standard for most flywheelers with high crush like this one, so keep that in mind. Moving up, there used to be a select fire switch that let you switch from semi-auto to full auto. I, however, have removed this switch because the full auto was slow. Basically unusable. You can go much faster with the semi-auto because of how snappy the trigger is. Because of this, I removed the fire selector, but I have heard that modifying the full auto on this thing to be faster makes this an excellent blaster. But it's a shame that it doesn't come out of the box fast. But like I said, the really good semi-auto trigger kinda makes up for this. Moving down, we have the rev trigger. Holding this down activates a switch inside that allows the flywheels to spin up. The main firing trigger also can't be pulled unless you hold down the rev trigger too. This feature is in place to prevent malfunctions. I have replaced the stock orange rev trigger with a 3D printed one designed by Flunked Punk. There's nothing wrong with the stock one, but I replaced it with this one because I like the star in the middle. He also has a bunch of other designs that I got 3D printed out as well. But there's a glaring problem with the rev itself that I'll talk about in a moment. Now moving to the grip, It's pretty good. It comes with a gray rubber sleeve that wraps around the grip, but I removed it because I still like the grip without it. The grip is very comfortable for my smaller hands, but larger hands shouldn't have any problems with it. Moving back, we have a Dart Zone buffer tube. This isn't a standard buffer tube like you'll find on ARs or airsoft replicas, but it should be compatible with standard buffer tube stocks. On the buffer tube, I have a 3D printed sling mount designed by haphazardly named. There's no sling mounts on the blaster out of the box, so this is definitely a welcome addition, as I believe being able to sling your blaster is extremely convenient. On top of that, I've got the stock that comes out of the box with the Mark III as well, but I've spray painted the gray plastic red to try to match the rest of the blaster. It turned out okay. If it was a bit brighter, it would be perfect, but hey, what can you do? The gray on the back is actually a removable rubber butt pad. This makes it super comfortable to shoulder the blaster, as you're not having hard plastic going into your shoulder. This stock is great and personally provides the perfect length of pull for my body type at its last point of adjustment. The stock itself should also be compatible with AR style buffer tubes like the one on the Worker Harrier, but I'm not too sure about the compatibility with real steel ARs. Nor would I know the legality of that given stock laws here in the States. So if you like your pets, don't do that. But hey, I'm not your dad. Now there's one more thing I want to talk about before ending the overview. The rev switch. Initially when I got the blaster, the rev worked flawlessly, but over time the switch just stopped working sometimes. So I have to sit there and mash the rev trigger in order to start it up again.
Ah, there it is.
As you can see, doing this gets pretty annoying and is also a massive reliability issue, as it only took 6 months to get to this point. The reason why this happened is because Dart Zone gave this thing a switch that wasn't rated for the voltage of this blaster, which means over time the switch begins to fail, which is such a bad problem for this thing to have. Now on the plus side, replacing the rev switch with something better is relatively easy to do if you have the tools. I'd suggest you check out Kern County Foam Flinger's video on it and move to this timestamp. That does it for the overview. Now, I don't have a chronograph on hand right now to properly test the FPS readings on this thing, so I'll have to get these numbers from other sources, specifically Coop772. As you can see, this blaster is hitting around 150 FPS with both full length and half length starts, though you do get a performance increase when using a LiPo. Yippee! Now with all of that out of the way, would I recommend the Dart Zone Pro Mark III? Short answer, probably not. Wait for a good sale. Long answer, I grade blasters on 3 categories: practicality, fun, and reliability. The 150 FPS might be a deal breaker for those who don't play at the FPS category, but for everyone else, especially those who play competitively, this blaster and its excellent consistent performance is great. Its excellent plastic quality with next to zero creep and ergonomics makes it feel wonderful in the hands. But its slow full auto, the jamming issues with the short darts, and the lack of sling mounts out of the box knocks it down some points. 7 out of 10. The massive amount of fun that comes out of the Mark III, without a doubt, comes from its excellent performance and ergonomics. Being able to quickly and consistently hit targets makes the MK3 an excellent choice for competitive players, flankers, and filthy casuals like myself. When using the correct mags, reloads can also be pretty easy and satisfying to pull off. But the reliability issues with the rev makes this blaster not so fun to use and even frustrating at times. 7 out of 10. Aside from the jamming issues with the short darts, the Mark III didn't really have any reliability issues up until a month ago. I started experiencing rev problems with my Mark III 6 months into my ownership, and I know for a fact that my blaster isn't just a lemon, as plenty of people, including friends of mine, have had the same problem that made the blaster nearly unusable. If the blaster was super cheap, I would personally understand, but this thing is $130 MSRP. There is no reason why such an expensive blaster would have a problem like this. Because of the reliability issues, I would recommend somebody looking for a high FPS flywheeler go and buy a Mark III. I really want to like this blaster because there's so much I do like about this thing, but the rev issue is making this thing frustrating to use, and its price point also makes me not recommend this blaster more, because for its price, it sure has a lot of issues. However, this thing goes on sale pretty often. At the time of recording this, Dart Zone has this on sale on their website for around $60. But over the holidays, my sister got this particular Mark III for $30, which is an excellent deal for this thing. If you find a Mark III around this price, I'd say go for it. This would make for an excellent blaster, and if it breaks, you're not losing a bunch of money. So, in my opinion, if you're interested, I'd say wait for a sale. But that's just my personal opinion. So that does it for my review of the Dart Zone Pro Mark III. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it helped you out in some way. If you have any questions or want to join the discussion, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear them. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.